Jo's workshop because I've just been friends with Jo for ages and love her workshops. She's a great teacher. And this interested me. It was about the coats. I've seen Jo's coat exhibition, and I think that might have been before I knew Jo, and it just struck me. It was just fabulous. And I was interested in going. I was really surprised when I was there, though. I didn't paint a thing. I sewed, and I'm not a sewer. And so that was a very unexpected outcome. BERYL and Jo had an exhibition on at that time at the gallery, and it was fabulous. And BERYL had all these wonderful props and very interesting hats and cloaks. And BERYL arrived with this wonderful assortment of bits and bobs, and that we used. I think nearly everyone used materials more than paint. It was which wasn't the way I thought it was going to go. And we had BERYL looking for thimbles, and I thought I haven't asked for a thimble for a long time. And BERYL, she had everything that was there. Really, yes, it was wonderful to have her. That theatrical part came into it too, I think. When the whole place where the workshop was wonderful up at the Cedar Galleries. And there was this wonderful feeling of, I don't know, space, openness, just a great place to share. It was fairly secluded, the gallery, and I don't know, it just felt good. It wasn't an enclosed room. It had a lovely feel about it. I think I've been to a lot of Jo's workshops before, and I'm just totally prepared for whatever. Yeah, it was more like an experience. We all went on our own little Zen paths, really. It wasn't a teacher standing up the front saying, now pick up this pencil and draw this line. We all had our own emotions and feelings and something we wanted to convey. And Jo's got a little knack of just bringing that out in everyone without saying much. It was wonderful. And BERYL went round and she had lovely chats to people. And I think she's got the knack too of, just gently talking. But it was very therapeutic, really, the workshop. Well, when I came home, I was determined I was going to take little parts of the coat, because I took photos of it, and there's little sections that are great design. And I put up a bit of paper and I started, but that wasn't the thing. It wasn't to make more artwork out of it. I think that was the thing. And it's a great memory. I've rolled it up and I keep it just there in the art room, and it's precious. Yes, I've hung the coat up, and it's in the other room if you'd like to come and see it. When we were talking about making a coat up at the workshop, there was a lot of choices, and Jo had lovely paper and everything to make there, and I looked at it for a while, and I don't know why, I just thought, I don't know whether I want to paint. And I remembered I had this quilt in the car. I've got two of them. Well, this one's obviously not in the car anymore, but the other one. And when my kids were little, I had 5 little kids, and my thing a day, my little thing so I could still be me, was to make a patch. So that is one patch. And it was all material that Mum got from the op shop and all the velvets. And I'd just come and make one patch a day. And there's another patch, and as it goes. And for some, I don't know where I found the time, Fancy worked over all the seams. Anyhow, they loved to death, the quilts. And so they've ended up, one's in the back of the car, and this one was on the back seat. And I all of a sudden thought, well, I wanted to do my coat about family, because that's been very important, or still is. And I thought, I'm going to get the coat, the quilt, and make my coat out of that. So off I went, and had no worries about cutting into it, which I thought I would. And yes, I remember lobbing down to Mum's place. Mum was a dressmaker, and I had, I don't know, had 30 or 40 of these big squares, and gave them to Mum, and she had to sew them all up into a quilt for me. So, and so that was basic of family. This has always been family. But as we went along, there was all these other little family things that came into it. The birds over the road from here are just beautiful. I can just sit out there and close my eyes, and there's the ducks from the lagoon and the parrots and the birds and the little teeny birds. The birds here are special. So there's all the little birds. These ended up here. Music's always been integral in our family. Pat and I have always loved music, and we've passed it on to the kids, and now they're kids, and we all swap music. So I had my earbuds in, and I was busy cutting, and cut through. And I thought, oh, my music stopped. Panic. So I've wound. There's the little the little bit there. So I've put that into the quilt, because music actually holds us together a lot of times. There's something about music and memories, and so when we started, I've got to remember back. I think Joe gave us a choice of a postcard, and I was really drawn to this Oriental postcard. I do Ikebana and Chinese calligraphy. I love Oriental things, and so I thought I'd make mine like a kimono with an obi, and so there's little bits of music tucked into little pockets. There's a D over there for Dylan, my son. There's an X there. That must be part of his. But everywhere I went, there was a little bit of the family somewhere or other that I've I've wound into the quilt, and little notes every here and there. It was the most fascinating process making it. Joe gave us all a little scroll. Nothing is so exhausting as indecision, and nothing is so futile. And I just think that's wonderful, because that's what I've always said to the kids. Don't hesitate. If you're thinking about it, just do it. It's only what could go wrong? Well, things can go wrong, but it's a lesson you've learned. Don't ever be saying, oh, I wish I would have done that. Just do it. And that's sort of always been my mantra. So that was the little scroll that went in there. It has no title, but I wrote a little haiku poem about it. That was the little postcard that I chose. Everyone chose something different. And I wrote a little haiku poem about indecision stunts, enthusiasm is catching, you're only here once. And that's sort of the whole thing. I've always told the kids, just have a go. Well, it sort of fell into place, hanging it up. I think this was all the red curly hair, and when I look around, there's all little funny little memories all the way around it, really. I love black and white stripes. I find that in my paintings, if I ever wonder what to do, put a few black and white stripes in. So I was in heaven when I think BERYL had the most amazing choice of whatever you want. You go up and say, BERYL, have you got anything? And she said, yes, it'll be there. And it was, from feathers to press studs. Yeah. The coats had different emotional reactions to everyone, and some people very deep and meaningful, and I just feel as though I'm not really that way inclined. I'm more of a realist sort of thing, but I just love the fact that I sewed. Mum was a dressmaker, and I always think she thought I would make it if I sewed. Well, why are you doing all this other stuff? I never really got up there in her eyes because I didn't sew, and I thought, oh, Mum would have been thrilled to see me, mind you, terrible sewing. But sitting there sewing was such a therapeutic thing. I could have just sat there and sewed, and all the little old fancy work stitches. I absolutely loved it.